We're just getting, a lot of guys, a lot of reps. It's camp. So, all these, new freshmen and new guys here, you just want to make sure a lot of guys are getting reps, make sure they understand, what they're doing.
Did Khalif get out at outside corner then a little bit?
He's been playing everywhere for us, to be honest. So he's, fairly athletic. He's still very, very young, but he's growing in the position. So we got him doing multiple things because he is so athletic.
Michael is obviously already in the spring. We saw him play quite a bit, but it sounds like he's off to a pretty good start here in fall camp as well.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys are off to a hot starts, but the biggest thing is consistency. So, you have a really one good play, and then the next play is, feet don't move the same. You maybe kind of hesitate a little bit on your assignment. So the more and more reps they get, the more consistent they'll be and the better they'll be overall.
How are you feeling about the depth at this point of the season? I mean, at this point of fall camp?
We definitely got a lot of guys that's going out there and getting reps. So, Coach Cristobal, he does a great job of making sure everything we do is a 1, 2, and 3. So, you got 3 groups of guys that's getting the same reps every day. So the depth, I think, is fairly good.
You got guys like Verone McKinley. He's going to play nickel, safety, cornerback. How much time do you get to spend with guys like Verone?
A lot, just because like you say, there's so many guys of our secondary that's interchangeable. Guys came here maybe playing one position, now they're playing another, and vice versa. So, it just definitely helps that we have a lot of guys that's able to back there to communicate and know what they're doing.
Nichols are in your room or in Keith's?
We kind of in the secondary. We're all together. So it's just one big unit, one big happy family.
What's the blend there for finding the right kind of body type and style for that nickel spot?
At the same time, everybody, say that you want a guy who's maybe 6 foot, 200 pounds, but is Tyrann Mathieu 6 foot, 200 pounds? No, and he's probably the best nickel in the NFL. So you just want the best player that could definitely communicate and get the job done.
Have you seen that kind of development with those group? Obviously, it's a group that's going to be a new starter.
You just see a lot of guys making plays. You see flashes here, flashes there, but like I said, we have a lot of defense in. And it's a lot of, it's a learning curve for those guys. So, you see the flash, but the biggest thing is consistency.
At that nickel spot, what have you seen different from hockey now and a little bit in the spring, but mainly now? It seems like he's doing quite a bit better.
It's just he's knowing his job, and it's some things, he's really, really good at because hockey's going to cover a lot of ground. He's athletic, and he's a big body up in there. He's going to take on blocks well. He has length to tackle. So some things he does really, really good, and some things at the same time, just like everybody else and even us as coaches, he continues to learn from.
Hockey's had quite a journey to get to this point from, Indiana to Arizona to here, and he just graduated. What has it been like to, see his evolving as a student and a person?
That's the biggest thing, him as a person. Football is one thing, but him as a person, just the growth. Because, every year, hockey's when it comes to age back there, he's the grandpa, So it's just seeing him as a person because, football doesn't last forever. Yeah. And, blessed that he gets opportunity after this, but then, so be it. Sooner or later, he's going to have to be a grown man, and for him, it's going to be a lot sooner than everyone else. So just seeing him as a person grow, just to, deal with the things he's been through, the trials and tribulations, and to see him grow from it and learn from it.
Does DJ fit in so far into that group?
Great. Athletic, smart, learns well, and he cares. He's very self-conscious. So he's not a guy who, likes to make a mistake, and he's hard on himself, and he learns from those mistakes.
You've got a nice mix of veterans and youth in your group. Who are the mentors that are mentoring some of the younger guys in there?
It's Thomas and Diamador, but at the same time, and Nick Pickett, we got a couple other guys, and Javon, actually. But you look at all those guys, Thomas is the oldest out of all 4 of them, and he just turned 20 years old. So, they're not fairly old at all. You say Nick, 19 years old, Diamador, 19 years old, and Javon, I want to say just turned 19. So the group as a whole is still very young, even though, a lot of people know their names because they played a lot of football here.
Even though you're a young guy, do you kind of enjoy that part of your job where for a guy like hockey you can be not necessarily a father figure, but like an older brother type figure with everything he's been through?
I like the whole as a whole. We have an open policy in our room. So, everyone, we all come, you got people from Chicago, people from Atlanta, people from Alabama, people from California, people from here. So, they all learn from each other. And to see them all get along and we grow as a family, you see no division from within, definitely in the secondary. So that's really good, even from our team as a whole.
Seems like Jamal Hill's drawn a lot of praise from his teammates, veteran guys. What has he done to kind of earn that?
You just go out there and make plays. But at the same time, he's a long ways away from praise, just like we all are. So every day we have to get better. But he's doing his job.
Is he just a nickel guy, or could he move around a little bit?
Nickel for us is a defense that's always on the field.
Okay.
So it's really like, you know, if you're playing nickel, you're on the field all the time. So it's hard to move a guy around because that job has its own specs and its own, you know, job of what it has to do.
There's a game last year, Stanford. I remember they were going over the top in the end zone, and it was really hard to keep up with that length. What do you do to address something like that going into a season like this?
They addressed it in the weight room. I mean, that's the biggest thing. So it wasn't really guys going over the top. It was two young guys out there and learning what to do, and they grew a lot from that game. So, I mean, you know, the year before they had a problem with a team, and they grew from that, and they played well against that team this year. So I'm sure that those guys then grew from that last game.
You were thinking Arizona State when you said the year before.
Just another game.
Yeah.
You know, every day is a game. When we step on that practice field, it's a game. So they're going to learn from the mistakes they made today and not make those mistakes again tomorrow.